What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you move. Don't you touch me. Don't you touch me. Okay, back up, back up. This is Officer Shu responding to a request for backup. What seems to be the problem here? The smell was jaywalking. All right, stand back. Let me handle this. Son, put your hands up right now. Son, I'm asking you to put your hands up. Son, if you do not put your hands up, I'll be forced to use this firearm to dispose of your threat. Son, are you listening to me? Don't you play dumb, son. He's reaching for... All right, you asked for it, motherfucker.
I don't know if a lot of y'all understand this or not, but come November, there's a war coming. Whoever wins, and it's down to two. We already know this. Third party, they don't even matter. It's down to two. One or the other is going to win. As a certain supporter, we know which one's going to win. Trump 2020. But there's a thing about it. The reason why I say there's a war coming is because if Trump wins, Black Lives Matter and all them other Antifa dumbasses are going to try to start war. We ready. Don't worry. We ready. Us rednecks and stuff, we ready for y'all. But if Biden wins, we coming. And we coming strong.
Umbrella. She's up. Whole nother level of shit you can't even understand.
What is good, my people? We are live, back again with another episode of The Forecast. Now, here it is after 500 or 600 years, and we still have to remind ourselves that we are at war. They show our blood being spilled on TV, on the internet, everywhere we look. But we still have to be reminded that we are at war. And we really don't understand the rules of war. Now, the enemy understood and still understand it is easier to make a child a slave than a person who has known freedom. That's why they ended the slave trade, not out of the goodness of their heart. They realized it was easier to raise a slave than to make a slave. And even when it came down to integration, they were willing to sacrifice to let our children go to their schools just so they can control their minds. Because now you don't have those black teachers. We don't have that knowledge of our history. And most of all, back then, we didn't have this illusion of inclusion. They realized they had to be a community. They had to protect each other because nobody else was going to protect them. But now we have this illusion of inclusion. But in reality, nobody is going to protect us. We have to protect ourselves. And if anybody can just come into our communities or anywhere and harm our children without consequences, then the same thing will keep happening. Now, even though generations before us didn't have the illusion of inclusion, we have to start learning how to protect what we do build. Because regardless of what we've been taught, we have picked ourselves up by our own bootstraps time and time again. We just never protected it. And it starts with standing up for ourselves and standing up for each other. Now in Kansas, an 11-year-old black girl, Nevaeh Thomas, was attacked and hit in the head with a pole by some racist little white boy. Now let's go back and try to find out what happened to this young 11-year-old sister.
If you're a mom, and I don't care what color you are, you don't know, you know how it feels when your child is hurt. It hurts to you. You feel your child's pain.
So true. A mother says she is heartbroken over an alleged attack on her 11-year-old daughter. That incident reportedly happened last Friday.
Tonight, we hear what a family says motivated a crime against that little girl. Here's 41 Action News reporter Mackenzie Nelson.
Nevaeh's family says she was the target of a racially motivated attack. Today, 11-year-old Nevaeh spoke about the alleged incident that happened here at the Park 67 apartments in Shawnee.
I was playing with my friends outside their apartment when a boy started saying racial words at us. He left and came back with a pole and swung at me.
As a result, Nevaeh suffered a concussion, lost a tooth, and needed 8 stitches on her face.
Little Nevaeh should be enjoying the perks of being a child. Instead, she has been baptized in persecution through racism, all because of the color of her skin.
Nevaeh's attorney says the boy yelled racial slurs at the girls while holding a knife in his hand.
Our kids should be able to play in a park without being attacked because of the color of their skin. So when you report this today, we want the positive outcome of coming together, talking about racism, so that we don't have to have our kids living in this hateful, feeling the effects of our hate and our anger.
The boy allegedly went back and got a pole that he used to hit Nevaeh with.
All I wanted to say about this is that we need to stop hate racism. It's wrong, and it's wrong to hurt people with words and weapons.
Nevaeh's mother, Brandy Stewart, says she is sickened by the incident, but proud of her daughter for standing up to bullying.
I've always taught her to defend herself, for one, and to not listen to what others said, for two, and to also love everyone.
Stewart says it took more than 2 hours for the 12-year-old boy to be arrested. According to the Johnson County District Attorney, he has been charged with aggravated battery and is currently on house arrest.
Now, this 11-year-old girl, Nevaeh Thomas, was just outside playing with her friends, minding her own business. Then, out of nowhere, this little white boy walked up and started yelling racial slurs at him. And this little white boy even left and came back with a knife, still calling them niggas or whatever. So just like we want our young people to do, and especially our men, but everybody, this young sister stood up for herself. And she told this little white boy that my black is beautiful. And you already know that probably triggered his deep-seated jealousy, because really, it gotta be they hate they don't have this melanin. So this young sister telling him my black is beautiful, which she is 100% right. But that set this little white boy off. So then he left again and came back with a pole and then hit this young sister in the head and ended up knocking this 11-year-old girl unconscious. He ended up splitting her cheek where she needed stitches and knocked her tooth out. Now, this young sister, Nevaeh Thomas, didn't know this white boy at all. He just came out of nowhere yelling racial slurs at him. But even still, the only thing the police will say about the case is that it has nothing to do with race.
All I wanted to say about this is that we need to stop hate racism. It's wrong, and it's wrong to hurt people with words and weapons.
11-year-old Nevaeh Thomas is recovering after a 12-year-old boy hit her with a pole last Friday at Park 67 Apartments in Shawnee. She says it all started outside when she was playing with her friends. A boy allegedly started yelling racial slurs at them while holding a knife. That's when she responded saying, "My black is beautiful." Nevaeh says the boy went back to an apartment, got a pole, and hit her in the head. Other kids at the apartment complex heard the commotion.
I was in my house and I just saw a group of people outside and a couple of police officers, and it kind of worried me. I didn't know what was really happening.
The boy is charged with aggravated battery and is on house arrest. Nevaeh's family members and pastors say they hope he's convicted.
We want equality. We want some things to happen in the justice system that are not equal to those who are black and brown.
As for Nevaeh, she wants others to learn from this situation.
It's okay if we're different or we have different opinions, but it's not okay to hate and judge each other on their color and their skin.
So we have reached out to the Shawnee PD and the district attorney for more information on this case, but they say they cannot give us any new updates because the people involved are minors.
It's okay if we're different and have different opinions, but it's not okay to hate and judge each other on their color and skin.
11-year-old Nevaeh Thomas is urging children to talk about racism to prevent others from going through her experience. Last week, while playing with friends at an apartment complex in Shawnee, Nevaeh says a white 12-year-old boy yelled racist slurs at them and hit her in the head with a metal pole after she defended herself by saying black is beautiful.
And it's a shame that her color, her beautiful black skin, caused such an outrage when she should have been having fun at a pool. Instead, she was in the pool of blood, of her own blood. This must change.
Her family and church want justice.
He needs to be treated as equal as they would do any other kid or any other criminal committing a crime.
District Attorney Steve Howe says the boy went through a risk assessment before being placed on house arrest. Moving forward, he says the juvenile justice system is focused on rehabilitation.
The last thing I want to do is have a person graduate out of the juvenile system into the adult criminal system. And so if we can change that behavior and prevent that, I think that's a huge win for the community. So I know that'll be the focus of the court.
Now, of course, they won't say this little racist thug white boy name. And they even took hours to arrest this little white boy, and only after this young sister family kept forcing them to. And it still took them hours to even arrest this little white boy. And only after this young sister family kept pressuring them to. But now, all of a sudden, in this case, the police claim they can't report anything because they're minors. Now, notice in other cases like this, they can't report anything until they finish investigating. But in this case, it's because they're minors, despite reporting about black minors all the time. But of course, they're going to get on code and protect this little 12-year-old white boy.
11-year-old girl is recovering after she was beaten with a metal pole.
The 12-year-old accused of hitting Nevaeh Thomas has been charged with aggravated battery. KCTV5's Casey Jones is live from Park 67 Apartments in Shawnee. And Casey, the suspect is on house arrest?
That's right, Ellen and Brad. That 12-year-old suspect accused of beating 11-year-old Nevaeh Thomas with a pole. He actually lives here in this apartment complex. And like you said, he is on house arrest. But the family of Nevaeh Thomas says this was a violent crime and that 12-year-old suspect needs to be locked up.
A playdate at this complex last Friday took a turn when 11-year-old Nevaeh Thomas was confronted by a 12-year-old stranger.
A boy started saying racial words at us. He left and came back with a pole and swung at me.
At a press conference at the family's church, loved ones say the boy's violent actions left Nevaeh bloody with a broken tooth and 8 stitches. Nevaeh's grandfather believes police dragged their feet on taking the suspect into custody.
I'm not leaving till the person who committed this crime is brought out in handcuffs.
Shawnee police say a little more than an hour later, the 12-year-old was detained but never handcuffed. He was taken in for an assessment, charged with aggravated battery, and released on house arrest. The district attorney says the juvenile system does not have an elevation of charges for a potential hate crime.
The juvenile justice system under the Reform Act is really focused on let's change the behavior of these juveniles so they don't graduate to become adult offenders. And so really one of the main purposes that the court's going to have is getting evaluations, determining what were the drivers for the behavior and try to correct that behavior.
The family's attorney says she will be keeping a close eye on this case as there's a focus on racial equity in criminal justice systems across the country.
And whatever compassion that you're showing this juvenile, make sure you're showing that compassion when it comes to dealing with children of color.
And for Nevaeh, she wants to use this as a chance to unite kids to fight racism.
I think we should start talking about these things before another kid gets hurt because they have the wrong skin color.
So Nevaeh is back at home. She continues to recover physically and mentally. In fact, I put the full statement from her on my Twitter page, KCTV5. Log on there to hear that. You know, keep a lookout for her anti-racism walk. She wants to get some kids together and spread awareness about something good. Also, the 12-year-old suspect who, like I said, lives in this complex and is on house arrest, he is due to appear in court on October 7th.
Now, this little thug, this sociopath, was only put on house arrest. They did charge him with battery, but they said the boy had no hateful or biased motivation. All he needed was some help, just like they do with all their little serial killers. And the DA talking about he don't want somebody to graduate with a record. Meanwhile, they want us to vote for somebody who passed laws that led to countless black kids graduating with a record, if they even got a chance to graduate. But now, all of a sudden, they care about kids having records, and they feel like he can be rehabilitated. Now, Joe Biden said, I don't care why they are like they are. Just keep them away from me, my mom, and my drug addict son. But now, all of a sudden, the courts want to change this when it's this white boy behavior. Instead of locking him up, now, all of a sudden, they say they can save him and change his behavior. But, of course, they're going to show compassion for their own. And I can't even be mad. If we're going to learn or take anything from them, that is one thing that we need to learn. Compassion for our own. Benefit of the doubt for our own. Instead, we adopt the mindset of white supremacy and look at ourselves through the lens of white supremacy. And also give them the same benefit of the doubt through that same lens of white supremacy. But if they know they can attack an 11-year-old girl without consequences, why would they stop? We don't have any other choice but to protect our own because we are all we got. And until we get on code and do what we have to do, then the same thing will happen over and over and over.
Why you gotta holler at fucking niggers when I'm around? You just run off with me. what the fuck about their kids and their fucking weekends off?
We were talking about fucking the shit with the mask at first, and then I was talking about... Todd, you talk to people all the time, and I don't jump to conclusions.
Just shut up.
Why are you talking to me like that?
Make a fucking excuse and blame us. You don't think you ain't nothing wrong.
I'm not blaming nothing on you. I'm just...
Fucking nigger lover. And every motherfucker in that store, you gotta talk to the fucking great block-ass nigger. Right there in front of me, like y'all fucking big.
I didn't think it was a big deal since I was
It is a big fucking deal. Well, people fucking see me and see you talking to fucking nigger.
And they know that I'm with you.
Yeah, whatever.
The Arkansas County Sheriff resigns after a video of him using racial slurs makes the rounds on social media. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us for Fox 16 News at 5:30. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. This morning, the Arkansas County Quorum Court called a special meeting calling for his resignation. Our Claire Kreitz joining us live in studio with more from that meeting. Claire.
Yeah, that's right. At first, Sheriff Todd Wright held his ground, saying he didn't mean it the way it came off and he would not resign. After more community members took the podium expressing their feelings about the video and the racial slurs he used, he ultimately changed his mind and resigned effective immediately. Nothing but cheers coming from the lawn outside the Arkansas County Courthouse as Todd Wright took his final walk as sheriff.
Thankfully, with everyone's help, he decided to resign today, effective today.
County Judge Eddie Best says his resignation comes after this video circulated on social media.
Why you gotta holler when I'm around?
In it, Wright can be heard saying a racial slur at least 8 times.
For him to come out like that, it was just heartening because I know, that hurt a lot of people's feelings.
This is like my first time ever having to deal with any type of racism.
Dominic Clark says he is the person Wright is referring to in the video.
People like myself, scared to go outside, scared to drive a vehicle, scared to walk past a cop, for, fear of being profiled just because you're black.
In a special called quorum court meeting, court and community members spoke up calling for his resignation.
Someone got to his heart and he decided to step down.
Clark says he's happy Wright is out of office, but wonders about the rest of the department.
It makes you think about the whole force.
Judge Best says he hopes this swift action proves the county will not tolerate racism going forward.
Quorum Court is not going to let an elected official operate in that manner.
I did reach out to Todd Wright. He did not have a comment at this time. Judge Best says the county will declare a vacancy September 8th at their next quorum court meeting. That's when they will decide whether to appoint someone or hold a special election.
The boy is suspended from school when a teacher caught a glimpse of a gun during a Zoom class. It turns out it was a toy, and the boy's parents are frustrated over how the school handled the situation, with police showing up at their door. ABC's Zareen Shaw joins us with more. Good morning to you, Zareen.
Good morning, Eva. Yeah, suspended from a virtual classroom for brandishing a gun that was fake. That's what a mom says happened to her 12-year-old, who she says is now facing very real repercussions.
This morning, parents of a young black boy facing one of their greatest fears. Deputies showing up at their door looking for their 12-year-old.
This is going to have a long-lasting impact on my son, on my husband, on myself.
Danny Elliott says her son Isaiah was taking a 7th grade online art class from his home 2 weeks ago when his teacher saw him playing with his toy gun, something his mother says he would have never brought on campus.
The expectation is clear. The expectation is set as far as what is allowed on school grounds and what is not allowed on school grounds. My son would know better than to have taken a facsimile of a gun to the school.
The Colorado Springs mom says the teacher told the principal, who called El Paso County Sheriff's Department to do a welfare check on Isaiah many hours later. Newly released body camera footage showing the deputy's visit.
You're a young man, dude. I don't want to see you get in trouble.
But don't let this define who you are, okay?
Why were the parents not notified first? Why did it take 4.5 hours for the police to respond?
According to Elliott, deputies told his son he could have faced criminal charges and might if he ever did the same thing again.
He told me, "Mommy, I had butterflies in my stomach the whole time. I didn't know if they were going to hurt me, and I didn't know if they were going to take me to jail."
Elliott says her son was suspended for 5 days. The school district, when asked for comment, declined to confirm the suspension, citing privacy laws.
The sheriff's department says in part, "We were told by the school the teacher did not know if the weapon was real or not. As we should, we investigated the situation to ensure the safety of the students." Now, the school also releasing a statement saying it's taking this time to look at the bigger picture and center our efforts on working with the family.
Well, all new at 6, a death threat against a black family leaves them terrified to go to church.
Now, a man from Taylor is facing time in federal prison for making that threat. 7 investigator Heather Catallo joins us live with the latest. Heather?
The U.S. attorney is calling this crime reprehensible and says threats like this will not be tolerated.
Felt my life was in real danger.
Church is important to Teresa Patton, but after getting a racist death threat, her feeling of safety during worship was destroyed.
And I wish people who do stuff like this would understand the effects, the ripple effect of it. You mean to terrorize maybe one person, but you don't. You terrorize a whole group of people.
This mother of 6 received that threat in July of 2019 on Facebook Messenger. It says, "See you at church on Wednesday night with my AK to put you and your expletive family down, expletive." The death threat included a racial slur, and Teresa was stunned to discover it was sent from a fellow parishioner at her church in Taylor.
As soon as I walked through the door, I couldn't breathe. I think I started having a panic attack, and my legs, I collapsed. I couldn't stand up straight. The fear was real. And from that moment on, worshiping was not the same.
The FBI quickly arrested 22-year-old Ronald Wyatt, seen here in a Facebook post. Wyatt lives in this mobile home community near the Sunset Church of Christ in Taylor. The Fed seized several guns and ammunition from him.
This is a hate crime, no doubt about it.
This week, Wyatt pleaded guilty in federal court to obstructing the free exercise of religious beliefs, and he admitted he targeted Teresa because of her race. He faces 1 year in prison, but his sentencing is being delayed a year so Wyatt can seek mental health treatment.
It's disgusting that anyone would treat somebody this way because of their race or their religion. And so we have to follow up on it. We also have to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes these are mental health issues. We're not going to put everybody in prison for this. We're going to try to get people help.
Teresa Patton says it was hard to speak publicly about this threat, but told me she did not want anyone else to feel this fear.
I am a voice for so many people in the community who have been dealing with racial unrest. I want people to know, stand up. Don't allow racial injustice or racial discrimination stop your life. Yes, it's scary, but we have to keep pushing together. And that's why I'm doing this, to let them know they're not alone. We're all in the fight together.
I did reach out to Ronald Wyatt's attorney for comment on this. So far, we have not heard back.
Oh. Did you get that? I think I did. Yo, lower the back of it, lower the back of it. Oh. Did you get that? I think I did. Yo, lower the back of it, lower the back of it.
The only thing that was the issue was, you know, the color of my skin, the way I was born. I can't help that.
An exclusive interview tonight with a victim of an alleged hate crime. A woman had a glass bottle and racial slurs hurled at her as she jogged in Queens. And good evening, everyone, at 6 o'clock. I'm Bill Ritter.
And I'm Liz Joe. We're going to begin with a disturbing attack. The NYPD Hate Crimes Unit is now investigating, and police tonight are searching for that woman who threw the bottle.
The attack on the black jogger caught on camera, and tonight the victim speaking to Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson.
She was so loud and aggressive.
This woman who threw a glass bottle at Tiffany while she was jogging and then spewed a racial slur.
She did call me the N-word, and I mean, I'm not an N-word, none of us are, but the reality is that this woman felt that she needed me to be that, and I would just say that she should look into herself as to why.
The attack unfolded here at 53rd Place and Broadway in Queens. Police are now looking for that woman. The NYPD Hate Crimes Task Force investigating. In this exclusive interview, Tiffany tells me even after the camera stopped rolling, the suspect was relentless.
She followed me up the block and was screaming, "Get out of here, go back to Africa, N-word."
People tried to shoo the suspect away. Tiffany was afraid things would escalate.
When you have adrenaline going, the first thing for me was just to get out of the situation.
At the time, Tiffany had no idea someone was recording it all. It happened August 17th. The 37-year-old spotted it on social media a couple of days ago and went to police knowing she had proof. Tiffany tells me this is a soul-searching process for the suspect, who has a lot of work to do on herself.
Her issues, whatever her actions were, are a reflection on her. It's not my problem, it's her problem.
Since the incident, Tiffany has not been back to that neighborhood, but has received tremendous support from friends, family, and coworkers, and groups like Black Girls Run.
I'm disgusted by it, as most people would be. All people, I would hope. And also by the violence involved here.
For what is believed to be the first time, Brandon police have levied charges related to public incitement of hatred after what police allege was a racially motivated attack on a black male in the city on Thursday evening. The allegations contained in the release from Brandon police outline a disturbing sequence of events. According to police, quote, witnesses at the scene advised the group of 5 people, 1 man and 4 women, started an altercation with a black man at the skate park by yelling racial slurs at him. Police say the man attempted to defend himself but was stabbed before being taken to hospital where he underwent emergency surgery. Police say he is expected to make a full recovery. Police say they do have video that shows, quote, the group of people yelled racial slurs at the man who is black. A fight breaks out between the victim and a male suspect, and the other 4 suspects join in, attacking the man with punches and kicks. The victim defends himself and is holding one of the suspects down when one of the women pulled out a knife and stabbed the victim 5 times in the side of his abdomen. The altercation ends as the man walks away, bleeding from wounds on his side. The female with the knife also slashed the tires of the man's vehicle before the stabbing occurred.
I'm glad to say that our investigators attended quickly. One of our patrol officers was very diligent in locating one of the suspects, and then another patrol officer located the second suspect, and we'll continue to investigate until we find the other 3.
The 2 in custody, who police say are related, are facing numerous charges.
The first suspect, a 23-year-old woman from Brandon, is charged with aggravated assault with a weapon, mischief to property under $5,000, public incitement of hatred, and failing to comply with a release order. The second suspect, a 20-year-old woman from Sioux Valley, is charged with assault, public incitement of hatred, public mischief, and failing to comply with a release order.
Brandon police say they believe they do know the identity of 2 of the 3 outstanding suspects. Well, Staff Sergeant Brown did say charges against the 2 that have been arrested could be upgraded if the evidence warrants.
Put your hands up. One at gunpoint. Step out.
I work here.
You work here?
I was kicking the door closed, man.
Okay, turn around.
First at 10, a Tempe police encounter under the microscope. The city's mayor calling it disturbing. An officer holding a black hotel employee at gunpoint, all while searching for an armed man who had already been identified as white. That officer now under investigation.
Tempe police promising to take appropriate action once their review is complete. ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius walks us through what happened.
Tempe police officer Ronald Wyatt arrives at the Hawthorne Suites Hotel in southeast Tempe. The manager says someone just pulled a gun on his employee.
Is he a white male, a black male? Come on. White male. He's going to be wearing a black shirt, tan pants.
A minute later, the officer sees someone push on an exit door.
Put your hands up. One at gunpoint. Step out.
I work here.
Hotel employee Trey Kumpian, clearly a black man in a polo shirt, khakis, and dress shoes. But the officer says,
I am responding to somebody with a firearm who matches your description. Do you understand that? Come here.
I got my hands up, man. Take the gun off.
The situation escalates.
Just because you're a cop don't mean you can hold a gun at somebody whenever you get good and damn ready. I put my hands up.
When I'm responding to somebody with a firearm, I can do what I need to stay safe and go home to my family.
Once the officer realizes his mistake with Trey, he then finds 2 other black men inside the hotel door, holds them at gunpoint while shouting profanities.
Where is he?
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
No.
So why are you talking to me like that?
God damn. Get the out of the way.
Tempe's police chief met Thursday with both hotel employees and was apologetic. Her department released this statement saying, "Our initial review indicates that this incident was not handled in accordance with the professionalism and respectful behavior that we and the public have for our officers." Tempe's new mayor, Corey Woods, also issued a statement calling the video both disturbing and disappointing and says, "We all can imagine the horrible feelings, the humiliation and fear that the employee felt." Woods also said the council is forming a community-based public safety advisory board in Tempe, which starts meeting this month. Just last year, Officer Keziah was accused of violating another black man's civil rights. He deployed a taser at Ivan Okri in his apartment while he held a baby. At that point, the police department said Officer Keziah acted within policy, but he received additional training. Now he's on administrative leave while Internal Affairs investigates him again.
And why do you have my employee a black male at gunpoint? He's clearly not white.
The Fort Worth Police Department has fired one of their own over a social media post that sparked a lot of controversy. Our Ken Molestina joins us with our top story at 6 o'clock. Ken?
Yeah, Doug, we have learned the now former officer's name. Roger Ballard, who had been with the department just over 18 years, received an indefinite suspension earlier today. And according to police, that is equivalent to a termination.
The meme shows a black man in a coffin with a comment about resisting arrest. The Fort Worth Police Department was made aware of the Facebook post on September 20th, calling it racially insensitive and grossly inappropriate. Last Friday, Roger Ballard was placed on restricted duty, his gun and badge taken away. And on Thursday, less than a week later, he received an indefinite suspension for violating the department's general orders related to social media use.
And if you're going to do something inane like this, then you're going to suffer the consequences. And officers, beware.
Corey Session, who is part of Fort Worth's Race and Culture Task Force and whose wife is a police officer, has said this incident has eroded the trust the department has been working to make with the community.
Just unacceptable. You are endangering other officers, you're endangering the lives of citizens, and you're creating a narrative that people want to believe. See, I told you. They don't care, and that's unacceptable by any means.
In a written statement, Mayor Betsy Price supports the police chief's decision, saying, quote, "We must continue the hard work of building trust in our community."
Well, Roger Ballard shares a personal profile page on Facebook where the meme was posted. The police department's internal affairs group is now investigating the extent of that involvement of a second officer in this case.
Away from me, or I'll smack your fucking head for taking a photograph of me.
You better get off.
Get the fuck off of me.
Babe.
You know
Yo.
what? Get away.
You don't.
You know this. Get it away.
Hey.
Get your
Keep
fucking
looking at me.
camera
I'm
off
gonna call the police.
Get your
I'm gonna call the
fucking
police.
camera away from me.
I'm calling the
Get
police.
Your fucking
I'm calling the
camera
fucking
away from me.
police.
I said, get your fucking camera away. Get your fucking camera.
That is not okay. My son is a kid.
So we out here, man. This Wesley just gonna attack me with her bag, man. I'm out here getting my run.
Motherfuckers ain't gonna do nothing. Watch what I tell you. They ain't gonna do nothing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. See the bullshit, bruh? But if that was me, bro, I'd be going straight to jail. No questions asked. I see my skin tone. It's that bull. She just attacked me, but she's standing there, no handcuffs on, nothing. She's just sitting there, man. But let that have been me, man. I would have been on the floor already.
Y'all, I'm about to tell y'all what just happened. So I'm at a restaurant, and it's two ladies, these two white ladies, came up to us and said, "Can you guys shut him up? He's annoying." Talking about Wick. Hold up, how you even turn the camera? This lady, right here, and these ladies. Y'all, please help me before I spaz. I swear to God on my life. I swear to God on my life. I'm about to get up and go address this lady. I got my mask right here. Obviously, you don't have to wear a mask at a table. I'm about to go off. Y'all about to see this happen. Yo, like, I'm literally shaking. I've never had this happen to me in my life. Like, I just wanted to walk over and tell you that my son has autism. So for you to tell me that he's annoying and to shut him up is disrespectful. Well, you should be nicer and ask, hey, is there a problem or something like that? But that's rude. I've never had somebody ever in my life tell me something like that. Okay. Are you excuse me? Huh? I said thank you. What you mean I'm excused? Like people like you just think you can walk up to anybody, say what you want, and you're not gonna get addressed.
Well, we're trying to have dinner.
I'm sure you are, but if you really feel that bothered by a 3-year-old with autism, maybe you should ask to be moved. Because we already told them what the deal was when we walked in here. No, you're not. Like you don't care. You just said, "Oh, you're excused." That's so rude. Do you condone? I don't think you do. Like condone whoever this is to you. That was just. Is she just usually like this?
I've never been in this situation with her, but I mean, I don't know what she said.
Right. She said, "Can you please shut your son up? He is annoying," and walked away. I thought she was joking. I thought she was about to say, "Oh, like he's." Well, I'm just joking. Huh?
I said I didn't come back down. I mean, I walked away. So
So you thought that was okay?
I think it's over with.
It's not. You don't ever. A reminder. You don't ever say that to somebody.
Well,
like ever. No matter if the kid doesn't have autism or not. If you are bothered that much, leave. Do not ever walk up to somebody and say something like that. Like you thought I was gonna shut up. I don't know why you thought that. Wrong mother. So I'm letting you know right now. If my son screams again and you have a problem, walk back over there. Because we can talk about it. And you too. My son has autism. Do not ever tell me that he's annoying. Okay?
I'm sorry. We have ear problems, and that screaming really hurts. So we're not addressing you. We were going to go to the restaurant and ask them to move us to the other side.
You were way more respectable, and I appreciate you for standing like that. But your wife said, yes, he is annoying. That, like, he cannot help it.
Okay, but it is annoying. We understand that if he has autism, it's something that you can't. I understand you can't control that, and so that's what I was telling you.
You have a lot more sense when you speak than she does, and then she does. A lot more sense, and I appreciate you. But for future references, I'm not trying to be rude, but I just want to let you know if it's any kid, even with autism or without autism, you just don't do that. Like I said, if you want to be moved, I would personally ask this waitress right here. She's a nice lady. I will ask her to move you. Can you please move these customers? My son cannot help the fact that he does what he does, and if anybody else has a problem, tell him right there, his mom come to that table. Thank you.
We're not playing out. You don't tell us when to go. That's the damn problem. You think you can give orders, and we're not going for it. You will not tell us when we can get your hand off your hip. Get your hand off your hip. Because I challenge you. I don't give a damn. Get your hands off your hip. I'll make them do their job. I will make them do it. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Mike, calm down, please. Please, sir. Please don't.
So you want to put your hand on your hip? You show me what type of big bad boy you are.
Mike, back up. Okay, let's back up.
Y'all to be
back up, Mike.
You too damn
big.
I ain't touching you.
No, listen.
You'll be a smart man not to.
That's right. Mike, back up.
You'll be a very smart man not. I'm not bagging up. This is free lane. Oh, no, sir, I don't threat. What I do is I set appointments.
You know what we gonna do?
Oh, he's scaring me.
tough shit. All that tough shit. Tough shit. Dumbass got knocked the fuck out. Move, big man. Dumbass got knocked the fuck out. You dumbass nigga. Damn. God damn. That's what you always talking shit though, yo. Yo, you always talking shit, yo. Them niggas next though, yo. These niggas next though, yo. Hey, yo. Look at my Instagram, yo. Niggas ain't going for that shit no more, yo. They whip our ass, yo. That's what we do to yo. You feel me? They talk shit, you whoop their ass. You already know what the fuck. Yo, bitch ass next.